Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles. And we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
Guys, welcome back to Breaking Barriers. Today's an exciting day. I'm in the restaurant with the owner where I actually literally asked my wife to be my girlfriend, which is incredible. Now, we've got a kid on the way. I've seen this guy. The dude's probably one of the most dapper guys in Red Bank. Hands down. Best restaurant, if not arguably in New Jersey when it comes to his food. Chris, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate you doing this.
My pleasure, kid.
Thanks to Rico making this happen.
Rico, man.
Reeks, I think you should do a little bit of a better introduction, right? Like, you know this guy, right? So talk a little bit about Chris before we ask him a little more.
So, you know when you come to Buona Sera, you know, you're always going to
Stop right there. It's Sera.
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 Come on.
Buona Sera.
Buona Sera.
Anytime you come here, you know you're going to get a fabulous meal. Mm-hmm. It's a family environment. You know, I feel like I'm at my grandma's house when I come here. It's welcoming. I always know I'm getting a good meal every time I come here. And then if you break out the guitar, I know I'm getting a good
Oh, I love that.
Bravo,
Yeah,
bravo.
I love that. And so for people who are like, I don't, because some people are in the tri-state, don't know this place, you know, who's Chris and what is Buona Sera?
Well, Buona Sera is a unique establishment. We've been here for 25 years, and I hate to admit how many years I'm actually doing this, which is 40. But as you go on and you evolve and you deal with all the nuances associated with the restaurant business, It really goes back to your original thought pattern when you first start.
Right.
You know, I started in a sandwich shop. I'm not going to admit how many years ago, but it was over 40. and I had hair. I had more hair than both of you guys. But you know, it was interesting because when you're young and you're passionate about what you do, and you're ambitious, and ambition is an interesting characteristic that people have. And I believe that ambition, in this particular ambition, comes from passion. And people talk about it all the time.
Right.
But you really have to be passionate about what and how you do things.
Totally.
You know, we are, and I am obsessed with food. I've never worked at a restaurant in my life. I'm a self-taught chef, self-taught restaurateur, self-taught sommelier. So,
wow.
you know, and it only comes from being passionate about what and how we do it. And
right.
But the challenge in today's world is trying to, teach that passion, extrude that passion into your staff, especially having a restaurant my size. I know it's risky. You know, we seat 600 people at Buona Sera. So, you know, it's hard to touch every single person, but we do it.
Right.
You know, in today's world, you know, it's all about exceeding expectations. When people come in, you sit down, you want to, understand why they're here, for what purpose, whether it's just a casual meal or it's a birthday or a milestone or whatever it is. You know, we try to put candy on the cake or whipped cream on the cake. And, you know, we try to exceed expectations for that individual for that particular night. And it's a very, very difficult
task at hand.
It is. But you know what? When it comes naturally, it comes naturally. You know, our biggest force and my biggest force, I thank God every day. At 63 years old, I'm not afraid to say it.
Right.
You know, I still have the energy. It's a gift from God.
Yeah.
That comes in, and we want to do it, and we want to build a better mousetrap tomorrow. And it's all about evolving with your product. And the product is not only the food, but it's your ambiance and your service. And you understand what marketing conditions are out there, and you try to exceed what happens out there. We need to give them an excuse to come to Buona Sera. Listen, today's world, in the restaurant business, if you're not very good, you're not going to survive.
Facts.
Well, anybody that's in business right now for an extended period of time is very, very good.
Right.
And you have to be. And what we do at Buona Sera is we've been here 25 years.
Right.
You know, when it's a new restaurant opens, it's the flavor of the week.
Right.
So people are going to go. Of course, we all want to go. It's like a Broadway play. Of
course.
But you know how we're going to keep them coming back. We come back. What do I say all the time? There's no smoke and mirrors. It's the real deal.
Right.
You come here, you get anything. I wish we didn't have any menus. When I first started, I had no menu.
Right.
You come in, I would cook a couple of things, but I only had about 150 seats.
Right.
And I would talk to the people. Oh, this is what we have today. You're gonna have, and listen, just sit down. Right. You have any
food allergies?
Food allergies.
Right.
If not, I'm gonna make you what is gonna be beautiful today. And you cook. I cook according to weather. Weather has everything to do with what you eat on that particular day.
That's
but at the
interesting.
same time,
Sure, because it affects your mood.
Exactly. You know, as
Very
food and
true.
wine. What wine do you like? You know, people ask me all the time, "What's the best bottle of wine you ever had?" I said, "The wine that brought a customer back to my restaurant." That's
the one I want.
That's my favorite bottle of wine.
Right.
But you know, it's all about, you know, all the small nuances. It's about the little things. It's about the attention to detail.
Right.
And the biggest challenge is trying to teach your staff and exhume that particular mentality into your staff, because they're the communication between the customer
Right.
and what we could do. Our biggest asset at Buona Sera, and I tell my waiters all the time, is the power of our kitchen.
Yep.
We never say no. I can make you anything you like, any way you like it, 7 days a week.
Wow.
Whether we do 1,000 people a night or we do 100 people a night, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You come in, if you want something special, it's a special night, we're going to take care of it. We have everything for everybody. You want an action, a big table, that we have this room, we move tables around, whether it's a 15, a 20, a 30, a 50
Right.
top. It doesn't matter, or if it's a douche and wants in a quiet spot, we have 5 dining rooms that we deal with.
Right.
So we have something for everybody, and that attributes to the longevity that we've had at Buona Sera, because we cover all aspects of it. But I think the key to the success that we've encountered through the years is no smoke and mirrors. You know, it's true passion. It comes from our heart. You know,
Right.
we come in and we talk to you. We understand what you're trying to do. We understand economics. You know, we're faced with an economic challenge right now,
Yep.
and we have to deal with it. You
Yep.
know, you can't deal with the Neanderthal way, and I've been saying it for 1,000 years. I also have a restaurant that's predicated on being value oriented. You know, it's
Right.
easy to buy filet mignon for $20 and sell it for 50 or whatever.
Right.
Okay, so now it's costing you a little bit more. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to charge more. No. It's a
not how it
storm.
works.
And all it is a storm, and it will
Right.
pass like
Right.
everything else. But at the same time, you just can't, you know, hit your customers with something that's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they appreciate it.
Right.
They say, we're not here for money, because in this business, if you chase money, it's the first day of your last.
Right.
You know, you got to follow your heart,
Right.
and money will take care of itself. Always.
Yeah.
There's many other ways to make money
Right.
in this world. And if you're interested, don't get me wrong, I'm not crying.
Yep.
We do very good at what we do.
Right.
But in our heart of hearts,
Right.
you chase money in this business, it's going to be your first and last day. You got to follow your heart, and money will take care of itself. And I try to give that, that mentality, or instill that mentality into our staff.
Yeah.
You know, who do very, very well.
When you were speaking back, to rewind a little bit, about
Right.
motivation,
Right.
where do you think that comes from? Is it instilled from your parents, or is it, you know, just
Upbringing,
a drive
like-
every day?
The man upstairs. You're born with it. You're born with with different passions. People are passionate about a lot of different things, you know, and you have to run with it.
Yeah.
You know, and I've always been obsessed with food. I had a sandwich shop. That's how we started. You know,
Right.
whether you're making in 1985, I was selling cheesesteak sandwiches for $20. They used to fall down. Whoa, $20, Jesus Christ. I said, listen to me, if you don't think it's worth it, I'll give you double your money back. And if I didn't do it 1,000,000 times, I didn't do it once. Right. And we never got one back.
Right.
You know, it's all about, it's all relative. You know,
Right.
we're using a product that costs a little bit more.
Right.
And how does it go? Price is only the consideration in the absence of value.
Right. Facts.
So-
That's true.
So, you know, here we are, you know, and it's not that we're going to bang people over the heads, but at the same time, value is also a tremendous factor that I consider
Right.
in marketing our restaurant. You know,
Totally.
we're very, very concerned
Yeah.
with the economic things. And listen, I want people to feel good.
Right.
They work hard. You work hard for your money. It's not easy. Nothing
No.
comes easy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and we want to give them something special, something different that they can't get anything else anywhere
So
else.
so there's a lot of wisdom that you just freaking shot out there, right? And I want to rewind also. So you talk about energy, right? And I think energy
Right.
is such a critical part of moving something forward. Whether it's a
Number one
business-
issue.
Yeah.
Number one factor. You got to create energy.
Right.
And the energy comes from understanding your customer. Listen,
Yeah.
how do you understand a customer? Walk in the door. How you doing?
Right.
Okay, how you doing? What are you celebrating tonight? It's your birthday. It's
Right.
It's our anniversary. Yeah, we're just having a dinner now. I just met her, him, whatever it was. Listen, I'm your guy.
Right.
You sit down, enjoy yourself, take your time. Listen,
Right.
I got to get out in an hour. No problem. I'll get you out in an hour. No, we're not here to rush. Whatever you like. We're
Right.
here. We're slave to our customers.
Totally.
You tell them what you want, and we're here. We're going to accommodate you.
Right.
And again, I'll say it once, and I'll say it 1,000 times. Exceeding expectations, giving something they did not expect,
Right.
over and above.
Going above and beyond. And I think that's why this place is such a staple, right? Because of that. And I think what's cool about you talking about transparency, I think a lot of business owners right now that are watching this are just taking insane wisdom from it, because what you're saying, what you're talking about in the new school, we'll call it, it's not looked at like that. It's not, oh, the customer's not always right. The customer's not always the best. The customer's not always your slave to a customer. It's looked at very differently for younger business owners. They don't have that grit that you're talking about. And a lot of times for people listening in here that are in college, whatever it is, wherever you are right now, I think like this is the shit they need to actually fucking hear, because what they think, like I'll give you a quick example. We had somebody 4 or 5 years ago. I actually used to have my office on Broadway back in the day here.
Right.
And we had this kid come in, and he was in a media department, like he was somebody who wants to shoot video and stuff. And he came in with this crazy, number and whatever else. And I said to him, listen, when I started my business, I was 17 years old. I was going door knocking with a little freaking tux on, going to pizzerias. And, I'm like, you got to do shit for free in the beginning and do anything for the customer,
right.
and then you'll get business.
Right.
And, people don't want to, they look at, no, this is what I'm worth. I'm not going to do that shit, right? And then I see you, right, dapper to the fucking nines, walking around the restaurant with a guitar, talking to every person coming in this place. And like you go above and effing beyond for your people. And I think that that's something that like people have to look at people like you and what you do here. And it's a true testament to 25 years, right? Because like you've been through, all these different markets going up, down, left, right, COVID. You've been through it all and back. And you're still here, right? And there's a lot to say about that. And so what you're saying, I just want everybody listening in, the value here is that I don't think that nothing is beneath you. That's what I heard from you, right? Like you're walking around, you're cooking, you're talking to people, you're playing the guitar, you're doing this. Like you're doing things that your staff also does.
Right.
I walked in here like, you want an espresso? I'm like, please, and you grab me an espresso, right? Like a lot of times people don't have that mindset. So I'm super grateful that you shared that.
It's called hospitality.
Right.
You just defined the word of hospitality.
Right.
I get a kick out of like I don't get out that often. I really don't, because I work every single day and we do what we got to do, and that's part of
the restaurant game is tough.
That's part of the dance. That's the dance, and we're part of it. And we understand it. We accept it.
Right.
But I do get, you hear people. I talk to thousands of people a week, and I went to this place and they treat us like that, they treat us like this. Well, first of all, I don't really care about any other place. I care about what happens within my four walls. But it's interesting. And listen, when we had this nonsense where they closed us down, and it changed the mentality of a lot of restaurateurs.
Yeah.
And I get a kick out of like the restaurateur is doing a favor for the customer, waiting on you, taking care. Are you out of your mind? A customer is a customer is a customer.
Right.
Whether they spend 10 cents or 10,000, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Everybody needs to be treated the same.
Right.
You give them the product. You have all. We have all the tools to give you whatever you want, any way you like it, 7 days a week. I say it for 1,000 times, but we mean it. What I created is that's why we have so many seats, because I have a hardest problem in the world for me is say no to a customer.
Totally.
And very seldom I'll have to say no. I'll probably never say no. I'll say, I'll figure out a way.
We'll have you in the backyard, or in the parking lot, wherever we got to seat you.
If that's what it takes. When we had the outside seating, that was a testament to it.
Right.
I mean, that's why I wear sneakers today, because I had tables from this side of the building all the way down in the front of the Count Basie. Lady dropped a fork in front of the marquee. I'd run a half a block to give her a fork. so that's why I wear the sneakers and put them on. But my point was I couldn't say no, especially during the COVID nonsense. The one thing I learned is you tell people they can't have something, they're going to go through walls to get it.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, we're still not doing the customer a favor by coming here. No, you're coming here. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's a little bit of a storm, and you're going to weather the storm. You think every day's going to be Christmas, you better think about another life.
Right.
So
do you have? I'm so curious. So, do you have some sort of routine that you have, like to set your morning up or your evening up, like? Because again, restaurant, it's like very long hours.
Freshness of food.
Right. No, but I'm saying for you as an entrepreneur. So put Bona aside for a second.
Okay.
So you have a morning ritual, morning routine. Do you have like an evening routine? Do you have like a health thing you do? Is there somebody who's motivating you right now? Like you're reading books. Like what is your thing that like you do? Do you have anything out of the ordinary, or just normal?
It's what we do. The restaurant business consumes your life. It's
right.
It's
nonstop.
day and night.
Right.
I dream about food at night. What could I come up with tomorrow? I mean, one of the interesting parts I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. Said what motivated you? Said, for over 25 years I went to Fulton Street Market to buy seafood. I knew everybody in the market. I used to go to Philadelphia and buy produce. And that's what motivated me. Whatever's good. Like right now, tomatoes can't get any better than they are right now. So listen, it's simpler foods. We keep things simple. The tomatoes are great, so you make a little simple salad. It's as good as get. You have to capitalize on what is above average at this particular time, and then exploit it.
Right.
And take it. Like how does the saying go? You can make a diamond out of a gem, but you can't make a diamond out of a rock.
True.
A rock is a rock, but if you start with a gem, I mean, you start with a diamond, you can turn it into a gem.
Right.
So, that's what really motivates me. Get up and deal with them. One of the nicest things that ever happened to me is my daughters got scared out of New York with their COVID nonsense, and they moved in with us.
There we go.
To save some money for a house,
Yeah.
and they're never going to leave, and that's fine with me because I'm my granddaughter.
You're loving
living
it.
with us. I absolutely
You're loving
love
it.
So that's my routine. Getting up and playing with my granddaughter and dealing with her, and then come and do what we do every single day for the last 40-something years.
Can I ask you a question on that? The restaurant game, as you mentioned, right? It's a 24-hour operation.
Right.
Especially when you're in your seat,
Right.
How do you either create or make this sort of like, I don't believe in a work-life balance. I think there's a harmony to it, right? Because it's integrating in each other. Over the past 40 years, how have you done that with your wife, with your daughter, with your your family?
Well, in the restaurant business, trying to find balance in your family and in your business is a tremendous feat. It's
tough.
It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
You have to have a family that understands. But listen, I grew up in a pork store. You know why Italian families that have businesses have children? To cut down on payroll. I was an indentured servant as a child. It's 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, boning out pork butts in a pork store. I mean, but and it worked. And so we had a great family, and a tremendous family, and a great nucleus of a family, and we understood it because that's what it was.
Right.
I grew up with a work ethic that would rival the Amish, for Christ's sake.
Right.
But that's what it was, and it was normal. And it kind of filters into what we do today. This requires a tremendous work ethic. But listen, you don't really look at it that way because if you're passionate about it, you don't think about it. You just put the blinders on it. Be courageous and move forward.
Right.
Every single day. You're only as good as your last filete de pomodoro. So you gotta, you gotta.
We're gonna rewind that again when he says that.
You gotta stay on your game.
Right.
You gotta stay in your game. One of the best things that happens that exists in the restaurant business is capitalism. Mm-hmm. We're surrounded. Restaurants are popping up, and they're going to continue to pop up.
Yep.
People are spending millions and millions of dollars to make them beautiful. God bless them.
Right.
But you know what? I look at that as an advantage to us. Why? Because we're going to sweep the floor twice as hard. We're going to kiss that many, double the babies.
Right.
We're going to be that more passionate about the food. We're going to take it, and we're going to evolve. We're going to be eclectic. We're going to do what we're going to do, and I have to keep up my staff. We have a big staff. We have over 50 guys or 60 guys. I don't even know how many people work here, for Christ's sake. They come and go, but it's just the mentality that we instill into everybody that works here. They try to pass off to our customers, continue the success. We've never been in it for the short term.
Right.
We don't even think about it. We just be courageous and move forward, and that's been, something that I've lived by for eternity.
Do you have so what I want to extract from this though is like, do you ever like allocate like, okay, boom, this day or this time I'm only spending time with my wife, or like
spend time with my wife every day? She's here with me.
Oh, so she's here.
Yeah.
Amazing.
She sacrifices her time with that. We're here, and that's part of it, and that's how it works.
Right.
But we find our balance. We've been doing it so long, and I got really, really good people that we could count on, and we take advantage of that from time. I got great managers, and one of the biggest actions at Buona Sera, my average. You're going to work for me for 10 minutes or 10 years. And my kitchen staff is an average of 30 years they're with me.
Wow.
30 years these guys have been with me. I have guys on the floor. Buona Sera has been here for 25 years. I still have 4 guys that have been here 25 years.
Wow.
So they believe in our mentality. They believe in our philosophy, that what we do and how we do it.
That says a lot.
And they're part of it. And in today's world, it's hard to find people. There's no question that want to share that enthusiasm, because sure, you'd rather be out partying, looking it up, doing your thing, rather than sitting and working sometimes. But when you're, like, again, I don't want to be redundant, but when you're passionate about something, it is what it is, and you do it, and you don't even think about it.
Just get after it.
And everything, it's funny, everything that you're saying, every single word that is coming out of your mouth is a true testimony to why, Buona Sera is the staple.
Say that.
There's no Z.
It's not spelled this way, but if you have to pronounce it, Seida.
Sera.
Bravo, Sera. There you go.
But it really is a true testimony to why you guys are the staple that you are.
Right.
And how night in and night out, you could expect a full house.
Right.
You could expect people to leave full stomachs, smiles on their faces, and they're ready to come back.
Yeah, I kid about it all the time, but Frankie, who does our Instagrams right around the corner over here, I say all the time, what do? We make people happy. That's what we do. You come in and make people happy, and at the same
it.
time, how do you make them happy? By exceeding expectations.
Right.
They're spending their money, and they're having a good time, and if they feel good doing it, it's a feel good, and that's
Right.
what we do. It's important.
Yeah.
And you can just feel it off the energy that you give. Everybody who comes into the restaurant knows it.
Yeah.
You know, you give the good vibes, and like you were saying before, the energy. It's so important. And
I got to know though.
What's that?
Finish what you're saying. Finish what you're saying.
I was gonna say, and it's so imperative for any young entrepreneur, restaurateur out there listening, that could really, they have to be passionate about it, right?
You gotta
there
believe-
is nothing without passion.
Yeah.
You can't look at the money.
I
you
feel
can't
like
look at
failure's
the value.
inevitable.
you
Failure's inevitable
And
if
you
you're not
need to
passionate.
grow.
Totally.
Like I said, you got to follow your heart. No matter what your product is, you got to follow your heart, and the money will take care of itself. You got to be smart about it too. You try to be as smart as you could possibly be.
Right.
Given the parameters that you have. And like I said, in our business, restaurant business is not one that can be treated as a quasi business.
Right.
Monday morning we go upstairs, we do our things, we end the week, we start the week on Monday, and it's all behind a closed door where we do our economics. And when that door closes, we're done with that. Now let's just go. Let's put on our, let's get on stage, let's do our dance,
Right.
and off we go. Another week, and that's
Yep.
what we do.
Yep.
We don't think about the economics. Just keeping people happy is our ultimate goal. Exceed the expectations again and again.
Boom. So one of the things. So anytime we're gonna do podcasts, we always throw it out there to our fan base. We ask some questions. They come in and ask questions. So one of the questions that we got that was for you specifically
Good.
was, now when you're doing what you're doing, you're grinding, you're doing all this other stuff, right? Like, how is it? Like, is it hard to manage your health? Like, because in the restaurant business, so the person who asked this, we don't know who asked, it's anonymous, but they asked about when you're owning a restaurant, you're running a restaurant, health is so hard to manage. You look like you're in great shape, you look like you're good, and you have amazing food here, you have good desserts here, so I don't know how the fuck you're doing it. But, that was the first question, is running a restaurant like you are,
Discipline.
it's tough. So it's just boom.
Discipline. We will have to take care of yourself. Age is inevitable.
Right.
And we're all susceptible to whatever the hell is going to happen to you. But you have to understand it. But you have to take care of yourself also.
Right.
And to put the effort. This is physical also.
Totally.
We got the stairs and run up and down. Sometimes I get a little tired. I'm not going to lie to
Yeah.
you. But listen, it's part of the dance, and you just have to take care of yourself. But you do find the time.
Right.
You find the time. Like I'm the easiest guy in the world. You find me on a golf course, you find me here. And the best part about a golf course is that I can tee you off early and still get here by 2 o'clock.
So you do your thing.
Right.
The second question was regarding, so this person obviously knows this restaurant because they asked specifically, do you ever dress down? That was the question.
I am
Does
dressed
Chris
down.
dress down? Does Chris ever dress down?
I do dress down. And I want to go back to the physical aspect of things. See, that also comes from eating Buona Sera food.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's a secret ingredient that I put in every single bite.
Right.
It's magic. Magic. You eat it.
Keeps you in shape.
I tell them, listen, the food is so euphoric. Tomorrow you're going to be doing push-ups and running and doing things your body has never thought it could do.
Run a marathon.
It's the euphoria, the
Right.
after euphoria about coming to Buona Sera.
I love that.
That's great.
That's beautiful, man. And so now with COVID, so I just have a question for COVID. So this was what came in.
Right.
So during COVID, what was the mentality for you guys to obviously keep pushing forward, right? Because it was a difficult time for every restaurant.
Right.
And then was there something that you guys did that you realized that was like, wow, like this is what pushed us through COVID?
No, you've been in business as long as I have. Every day's not going to be Christmas. So here
Yeah.
you go. You get hit in the head.
Yep.
Your father always taught you, and parents taught you, listen, someday the world's going to come to an end. That's why you have to save a couple of bucks, and
Yep.
you can't be frivolous with your dollars.
Right.
So, but in any event, here comes COVID. Okay, it is what it is.
Yep.
Okay, so we did the best we could
Yep.
with what we had.
Right.
Okay, they closed us down on March the 17th. They reopened us on July the 9th. Well, during that period, we did takeout, and we did what we had to do
Right.
to keep it going. And it was takeout. Takeout is easy for us. That's how we started, for Christ's sake. So, it was very, it wasn't that difficult.
Right.
And then people were extremely, extremely generous with what and how we were doing things. And we got creative of how we're doing it. Hell, we were selling meat out of this place. Because you couldn't get it. Things were limited about what and how you do. And we did the best we could and everything we could possibly do with the parameters that we were given.
Right.
That's it.
Boom.
And when it's
all
over,
you could
it's
do.
over. Then it closed, and we had they called it. It was the street onslaught.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
I felt bad. People are paying $50 for a veal chop sitting on the curb, for Christ's sake.
Right.
In the street. I mean, but it is what it is. We never experienced it. Not every day could be Christmas.
Right.
You take the parameters and you deal. You don't cry about it. You suck it up. It makes you stronger.
Right.
Okay.
You learn, you
What
gain
can I
experience.
do? Don't tell me what I can't do.
Right.
What can we do? Okay,
Right.
you can open up here. You got to close by 10 o'clock. You can't do this. You can't. Okay, I can't do that. What can I do?
Right.
Okay, we can do this. We can do that. We can. Okay, we're going to exploit it as
Right.
best we can for all of it. And Frankie, our Instagram king, was also part of that. Social media is extremely powerful today.
Totally.
You get out there, let people know what and how you're doing things.
Yep.
You know, and I kid around with it a lot, but of course I try to make it fun, and I'm a good bitcher, and I like doing it.
Right.
You know, singing songs. You know, I always tell people all the time, I'll sing, I'll dance, I'll cook, I'll do anything to bring you back. Just please come back.
You know what I love though? You know, hard-working entrepreneurs like yourself, when you say certain things, you make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
But it's just because
So-
you just take action.
Yeah.
Like you just do it, right? And a lot of times where people, you know, they're sitting there like, oh, that's a good idea, I want to do this, but they never act on it.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, no, I just do this, I just do that. It just makes it seem so easy.
Well, I tell my guys all the time, the Nike commercial was the most genius commercial in the world. Just do
Do
it.
it.
And sometimes just do what I tell you.
Both variations. So all right, so as we're coming close to the end here,
Right.
I want to make sure you don't have any left in the cannon for you for any questions.
My last question is, what advice would you give to somebody who's starting in the business? Whether, you know, they're building their own business as an entrepreneur or a restaurateur, or, you know, maybe they're going through a difficult time with COVID and the circumstances they're in. You know, how do they see the light at the end of the tunnel? Or do you just got to work and know that the light is there even if you can't see it?
Thomas Edison. Be courageous and move forward.
Right.
You know, you believe in something, forget about everything, put the blinders on, and just move forward. You got to be smart. You got to think it out. You know, I use the adage, and it's literal. God gave you 24 hours a day. Use them.
Boom.
He gave
Boom.
He gave it 24.
Yeah.
Use the 24 you have.
Right.
You know, I tell guys all the time. You should never be later than an hour early. You know, you got to utilize the time you have. You know, there's
Right.
no time limit on it. You got to throw yourself in.
Right.
My daughters, you know, never got involved with the restaurant business. You know, it wasn't their gig. They weren't
Right.
passionate about it. But I said they're out in the world right now. The only advice I give my daughters, listen to me. You got to exceed expectations in your occupation. You're going to be the first one there and the last one to leave. Put the time in. You know, make yourself an important, indispensable commodity for that particular environment or business, no matter what you're in.
Right.
Young entrepreneurs getting into business, believe in your product.
100%.
Do your homework, understand your market share, you know, and all those parameters. Take it and run with it. And once you run with it, don't ever look back. Don't ever look back. Don't think about failure. You can never think about it. Last night I was having a conversation with somebody about how difficult it was to come to Red Bank. I was, 30-something years old, but I already had a business in Seaside Park. And the reason why I left my restaurant, which was very, very busy, was because of help. It was seasonal. You know, I used to go from employing, 75, 80 people to like 15, 10 or
Wow.
15, because we were a block up from the beach. So I just wanted a place that I could employ my guys during this, the off seasons and kind of make it work. And we came here. You had to get the variances. And when I came to Red Bank, it wasn't in its renaissance. It was really in the genesis of its renaissance, and it was very, very difficult.
Wow.
Very, very. But to me, it wasn't difficult, because if you asked me at 38 years old, listen, I got 15 minutes to get through that wall. I'll get through that wall. And so would you. If you
Show
had
me
to get
which
through
wall.
it, just tell me what wall.
Right.
And what do I got to do to get through it? And you're going to do it.
Right.
You know,
figure
don't
it
think
out
about
on
it.
the
You'll
way.
figure it out. Just do it. And it's sometimes, if you got to be hard-nosed about it, and sometimes Neanderthal, well, sometimes Neanderthal works.
Right.
It's better being smarter. It's better be smarter to figure out a better way to get it. But sometimes God didn't bless us all with those kind of,
Right.
with those kind of brains.
Doesn't mean you can't get it.
Or ambition.
Got to get it done. Ambition will overconquer or outdo smarts sometimes.
I agree with that 100%.
Outwork your.
You said something early on, and so I didn't go to college. I started my business early because my parents were going to lose their house. I'm
Right.
the oldest of 5. So I resonated big time with you, because when I was growing up, I had a big chip on my shoulder, because going to school, I was in all like remedial classes. I wasn't the smartest dude.
Right.
So I just started this during high school when I was 17, like I said earlier, and then it just kept going, and I never went back. I never went to college. But what I love that you said, and obviously you're a true testament to success and not needing school or whatever. I'm sure obviously you went to school for different types of, cooking and everything like that. What I love is you said you're self-taught. And so many people out there think that they can't do things because they don't have the money, they don't have the resources, they don't have the...
No.
And I love that you said that.
That's the fetus.
Totally.
It's the fetus.
So true.
Right.
That's the fetus. You make a million excuses. No. There is no excuse.
100%.
Ultimate optimism.
Right.
You got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You can't dwell with the negativisms. I don't allow it.
Right.
Even with the guys around me. God forbid they ever come to me and tell me there's a pain in the ass at table 16.
Right.
Mike, check them out. They're not with us anymore. What are you talking about? There is no such thing as a pain in the ass.
Right.
A challenge, yes. That's an opportunity. It's an opportunity.
Your toughest
get
clients are your best clients.
Damn right it is.
You learn the most.
You got the tools to do it, use it.
Yep.
You got the tools. You got a kitchen that will never say no. We have the tools. You got to use your tools.
Right.
And take advantage. You get somebody that could be a little challenging, a little demanding. Good, give it to us. This Buona Sera is your spot. You want to come? Challenge. I don't care anything you like. You want to cook the special way? We'll give it to you.
I love it. That was the direct hook. That was the hook we were talking about. So all right. So I have 2 more questions. So one is for all the people out there like myself right now. So I'm in the process. Me and my wife are pregnant, and so I'm asking people like yourself who are successful.
Yes,
and,
we can do the christening.
Yeah. Already locked it in. We already locked in the christening. Let's go. So we're locked it in. Jack, don't worry about it. I got it covered. So you have 2 kids?
Yes,
2
girls,
kids,
yeah.
2 beautiful daughters. So, I'm asking people like yourself, right, who are busy move makers,
right.
Who are super, just ambitious entrepreneurs that get up every day and do the best they can, right? So what advice would you give to me and anybody else out there who's an entrepreneur but about to be a father? So if you could go back and give yourself advice, boom, your first kid, what advice would you give yourself knowing what you know now about being a father? This is where we zoom in on them.
Yeah, this could be a zoom in. And I mean, children are a gift from God.
Yep.
And as corny as it sounds, your life changes the day you have a child.
Right.
And it changes and it'll never go back. And the appreciation of a child is life changing. And it's as corny as it sounds, there's nothing to change. You love your kids, your appreciation of God that gave you this magnificent, opportunity. To love and cherish and
right.
fulfill your life.
Right.
And there's only one thing better than having children. You know what that is? Having grandchildren.
You send them back home?
I've grown up to be the man I laughed at as a child. I do and say things that I would never done when I was when I was your age. I used to laugh at my uncles and my fathers when they used to talk the way I do now. But
that's what love does to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Children are a gift from God. It's appreciation. You love them, you culture them, you understand them, and you develop and you try to give them wisdom. Like the one thing, especially when my children were young, was difficult because I'm literally working 24 hours a day.
Right.
You're never there, and then you got to try to find that balance. It's very, very difficult for them. But then through years and success, but success is not measured by monetary means at all. Success
right.
is you've accomplished what you tried to accomplish, and your children, when you're in the restaurant business, can suffer because of the amount of time you're not there. You live an upside down lifestyle.
Right.
But again, you have to balance. But if you gain the respect of them, of what and how you do things and why you do things, they understand who you are, and that also comes from the nucleus of your family, which is their mother.
Totally.
The understanding about why daddy's doing this and daddy's doing that is because he has an obligation to our family. He has a responsibility as a man to do certain things. He has to follow his dream, and he's doing it. And listen, he's doing it for us because he loves us and he wants the best for what we have, not measured by monetary means, but right. by character. You always said you never measure anybody's mentality by the size of the wallet.
Right.
So you appreciate what you have and you do the best you can. You try to find that balance for your children, and hopefully one day they'll understand that the sacrifice that your families do make,
right.
especially in any entrepreneurial encounter, is going to have an effect on them, and they got to understand and gain the respect of what and how you're doing it. It's not only for you; it's for your family to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Listen, because when you have that much drive, it's hard for young children to understand.
Totally.
What the hell are you doing?
Right.
You know,
This guy's a maniac, my
Well,
dad.
listen, they make 1,000 movies about how hard people work and the sacrifice that it requires to be successful. And there's no secret, but you have to find balance. That balance comes through the nucleus of your family, and that is the mother or the wife in that particular, because she will get it. When I was a kid, my mother was that. I mean, we had Easters and 4th of July dinners on a butcher block, and we thought it was normal.
Right.
And it was normal. You know, it's perception. It is what it is. You know,
Right.
it's about perception. If it's acceptable practice, and your mom or your wife, instills that particular mentality into your family, it's going to be fine.
Right.
It's going to be fine.
That's beautiful, man. I don't know if it's the espresso, but I'm fucking jacked up here. I gotta come see Chris.
It's the
and just get
energy.
jacked
We
up.
pump it in.
It's oxygen pumping through here. So, all right. So the last question.
Go ahead.
And so this is a tough one, right? But I think you're gonna answer in 0.2 seconds based off this whole podcast.
Right.
So I'm a big, me and Rico, we're big people and proponents of legacy, right? And like who we want to be, where we want to go, just looking at people who've been successful by not monetary means, by just what they want to do in the world, right? Whether Mother Teresa is successful, so is, Jeff Bezos, right?
Right.
So the way that I look at it is a lot of times when people are measuring what they want to be and who they want to become, they're looking at where their feet are today and where they want to be, right? So I like to kind of make this question, I reverse engineer it, and I say, so let's look at it from when you're there and by the only thing that will outlive your, daughters, your grandkids, their grandkids, and that's your gravestone, right? So what legacy, right? So if you're writing that today, like if you were to write your gravestone today, right? What would that say, and what would be of what Chris made and on this planet and the impact that he made? That people, when they visit that gravesite, that boom, this says everything that you are and you know who you became.
You never know how high you are until you're asked to go higher.
It's true.
Simple as that.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
You think you're doing a good job?
Yeah.
You don't
Maybe
know
you
what
are.
level you're at until you get to the next one.
You never
I
know
love
how
that.
you are until you get higher.
And even putting that back into terms of like, at one point you're making cheesesteaks in Seaside, and then boom, right? So it's like at that point you're pumping out 70 people, doing all this different stuff, and now you have 600 seats.
Right.
Earlier in this podcast, you said, at one point, I had a place where we had 150 seats, and for most restaurants, that's a full restaurant,
Yeah.
right? That's a pretty decent sized restaurant.
Yeah, it's incredible. But listen, when I was younger, I was extremely ambitious, and again, it comes from having a very difficult time telling customers no. Just can't do it. That's why we have so many seats. Just can't say no to people.
Can't say no.
Yes. Come on down. Bring your friends.
Right.
Come on. But on a serious note, but then you got to be smart about it too. And listen, I had a great nucleus of guys, and I still have a phenomenal nucleus. Guys that understand the mentality of what we did. And part of the reason was when we were in Seaside Park, we had a 15-week season we had to run with. I learned how to cook fast.
Yeah.
Get them in, get them out. Move it around. People want to sit, and we learned how to do things. And when we came here, we were actually too fast. Whoa, what the hell's going? Oh yeah, we get it. We're gonna slow things down a little bit, but that also gave us the ability to handle the volume that we do without jeopardizing the integrity of the product that we put out there, because it's the most important thing. You don't want to cut your foot off to spite your face.
100%.
You got to constantly evolve. Evolving is extremely, extremely important in today's world. All aspects of your business plan have to evolve from your ambiance. You have to constantly upgrade to service. You have to stay on top of eclectic foods. And listen, I thank God every day I get up. It still burns. I still dream about food. I still come up with recipes. I don't know where they just pop up out of my head, and we're going to make something, and I'm not afraid of it. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. Sometimes I make things, and I said, now what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
They come out, and it didn't come out great.
Yeah.
The best. I think my best failure was I wanted to make an Italian version of carpaccio, but a tartare, not carpaccio, tartare, because I enjoy the tartare. So I got Piemontese, which is Italy's answer to like a Kobe beef type of thing, and I made this beautiful tartare, put it on the tables, and people are going, listen, I don't like it, it's raw.
Right.
Take it back. Well, tartare's supposed to be raw. Well, tartare doesn't work in an Italian restaurant. Maybe on a little bit of a specialty.
Right.
So anyhow, I took all the 100 pounds of tartare that I made, and I converted it into an Italian meatball. But I played with it. I did some things. I shoved the burrata, and now we sell 500 a week.
Wow.
So how do you figure? So now my greatest failure.
I love that. I love that.
The
That's
stuffed
amazing.
meatball. And it's different. You know, it's a different kind of meatball. It's 100% beef.
Right.
Piemontese. It's so, you know, it's something a little bit different. And again, I'm not afraid of being different. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm going to keep throwing it against the wall because, you know, that's how we do it. And that's how you evolve.
Right.
Understand what works and run with it.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. You said Thomas Edison, right?
Thomas.
Fail 1,000 times, get it right once.
That's it. That's
You
it,
know?
baby. We love them.
So for people out there, so again, thank you so much, my man. Your time is super valuable,
My
and
pleasure,
I appreciate
guys.
you.
We appreciate
For
it.
people watching, though, where can they find you? This is where you plug yourself. Website, social media. Where can they find you?
You can find Frankie. Where can they find us, Frankie? Buona Sera, baby. Come see us. We're here every day. Like you want us to sing, you want us to dance, you want us to cook. We're here for you, baby. Come visit us 7 days a week. Whatever we can do for you. Christenings, weddings, bar mitzvahs, you name it. Come see us. I'll cook for you, baby. And the passion comes from the heart.
Is guys like this literally, I've been coming here for I think like 8+ years, and this guy has this energy every time I've been here. So this is not just for the camera. This is how this guy is literally all the time. Come see him. And again, Chris, thank you so much, man. Thanks,
Bravo.
Rico, for making this happen, Rico.
Bravo,
Thank you, guys.
bravo, baby.
Good stuff.
Thank you.